Hi everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Temi Adelana and I'm the founder of Herlign. Herlign is a venture studio and wellness garden that is nurturing next generation of women across Africa. And currently we're building a couple startups across various sectors.
Hi everyone, my name is Toyosi Ilo-Boluwatife and I'm a legal manager at BudPay. And today we'll be talking about knowing your rights as a taxpayer. So Temi, what do you know about taxes?
I know my rights. Right? I know that I'm supposed to file annually.
Okay.
I know that I'm supposed to ensure that my auditors check the books up to date.
Okay.
But what I don't know now is these new laws and everything in between. So I guess that's why we're here to discuss.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that you can save my life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when I was in 400 level back in university, when I was taking taxation, the law of taxation as a course, right?
Okay.
There's something my lecturer said. I think it was attributed to someone.
Okay.
Someone gave the statement, and it was like, "Oh, there are two things that are certain in life: death and taxes." Right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, if taxes is certain in life, I mean, it
Then
means
it
that
was
we all be paying taxes, and I mean, we should know
right.
our rights as
I agree.
taxpayers, right? So your right as a taxpayer, in Nigeria, I think the first thing would be the right to be issued a tax identification number, right?
True.
So, I mean, that's what identifies you. I mean, just like your NIN and all your BVN, it's an identification number. So it's in the record of the tax authority that
you have,
yes, that you have that, and they can see whether you've been paying taxes and all that, right? So you
true.
have your right to be issued a tax identification number as a taxpayer.
And I think that's very well important as soon as you register your business or your company. So that automatically comes. So it's not like you can just go and get a TIN.
No,
You have to register an entity with it.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense. I think that for following what you said, I think that's what Nigeria is trying to do. Ensure that you either two things are certain. Your tax is really certain, because I'm sure that there are a couple of people that have never filed annually,
very true.
whether as a person or as
there's a
an
lot of
entity.
tax avoidance
Yes,
going
so
on
I
and
think
all.
that's where we are now. They're like
evasion.
2026, here we come.
Yeah.
You must file, whether as an individual, as an employee, or as a company. You cannot escape this one.
At all.
Right? So that we will not be penalized.
Yeah.
First question would be that, as regards this old tax thing,
Yeah.
why is it even essential?
Why is it essential?
Yes, why is it essential? Because there's some people that say, why, like some people need to understand, why do I have to pay a certain amount of money? What is the importance of the tax in the first place?
Okay, I'm sure maybe while watching the news or while you're on social media, you hear, oh, this politician is doing this government is doing this with taxpayers' money. You get? So, I mean, we are supposed to pay taxes, right? To enable the government, carry out, developmental activities, building infrastructures, roads and all that, right? Those monies would not just fall down from the sky, right? Yes. So taxpayers' money goes into those sort of activities. Yes, that the government, wants to carry out just for the development of the society.
So casually, if I see a bad road on my streets, all I say, they've eaten my tax money, or that the tax, we are not paying our tax. So it's one of the two shy. It falls in between.
As well
I
say
did not
that.
say that though. Did you record that? Okay, so what are my rights as a Nigerian citizen that pays a tax? I'm up to date. I file annually. And sure, I think I file every January or February. I can't remember, but I file annually for all my businesses and my company. So what is my right? What am I entitled to?
Okay, you have a right to be issued a tax clearance certificate, right? Okay. So that's the certificate that shows that you have, paid your taxes. Yes. So it just evidences the fact, right? It's called a clearance certificate that you get. So yes, you have a right to be issued a tax clearance certificate, right? Yes. You also have a right to pay the right amount. Do you get? and not be subjected to paying, excess, yes, or lower. It can come in both ways, right? You're not paying in excess and you're not paying lower than what you're supposed to be paying, right? So you have a right to pay the right amount, and you have a right to refund. So when you pay in excess, you actually have a right to refund.
So that's what they call VAT refunds.
VAT refunds. Not exactly.
Okay, so because I know there's something called VAT refunds. So is that what you're referring to? Is what I'm saying?
Okay. VAT refunds, right, can for example, this new law, the new tax act, right, it stipulates some categories of items that are exempted from VAT.
Okay.
Do you get? So where a business owner charges their customer VAT for those items, for example, baby items, right? Yeah. The customer who has paid VAT for such item can go to the tax authority, and provide evidence of that payment, right? And such customer is entitled to a
So
refund.
VAT refunds are only on goods that are not supposed to are tax exempted on a normal day.
Yes, goods that, yes.
So it means that as business owners, we also need to do our findings to know what goods and services are tax exempted and what people are also exempted from tax. And that takes me to my next question on this whole conversation would be, who are the people that are exempted from tax and what are some of the items that are also exempted from VAT?
Oh, okay. Businesses that are exempted from tax right now, right, are small businesses. So the act makes reference to small companies, right, and it stipulates that where companies' annual gross revenue is 100 million naira or lesser, such companies are exempted from tax.
Okay.
Do you get? Yes. So when you don't make 100 million naira in revenue, right, not just income, yes, you are exempted. So you will not be paying any tax. Yes.
So I was just saying, as an individual, I heard that the tax reforms will also eat everybody. What am I expected to return back to the government? How does it work?
So the new tax law, itemizes certain amounts, right, that individuals that fall within those threshold are expected to pay. Now, if you fall within a threshold of 800,000 naira and below, annually, you'll be paying 0% of tax, right? You'll not be expected to pay any tax, right? But if, for example, you earn 50 million naira, right, and above, you're expected to pay 25%, of
Just
that.
like that. Wait, to 1/4 of the money.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand. So I will earn 50 million. I'll now give the government 12.5 million naira.
Do you get?
Uh-uh.
It's even higher than your tithes.
12.5 million naira from 50 million.
That is what it is.
I'm lost. Ah, God, you have to be earning in dollars at this point.
You still
Because then
pay
I
your
will not
tax.
feel it. Because, man, that's crazy, actually. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I think my next question would be around, pay, personal income tax, and all of those things like I've just asked you,
Okay.
right? You just talked about the 25% on my annual income. Is that just as my entire annual income? Or that also has to do, that is also involving my pay as I earn, like the payee tax and all of those things. The one that's I pay for my employees regularly. So would that be cut out or everything will be accumulated again? So please, do you want to put me into knowing my rights in that area?
Okay, so for everything that comes in, into your account, right, as an income, you will be expected to pay tax,
Okay.
yes, on such amounts that come in as income, to your account.
Minus my salary.
Yeah, minus your salary.
Okay.
Because, that would amount to if your employer is already remitting for you, yes, you don't have to. So there's a tax calculator, right? It's online, where we have already been provided it as an avenue for self-assessment, and for us to remit the proper tax, right? Yes. So everyone can go online and, make use of that tax calculator.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, like a personal income tax calculator.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I think that helps and does the part, because I also know that there's a part of the self-assessment payment. That is where mostly the individual, tax commitment lies. Like, I mean, the PI, I think the PIT or the individual tax fees. I think there's so many names. We also need to get it right. And this also brings me to saying that we need to get our books right.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to be taxed on what is not if you don't put your books together.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so what do you advise business owners or small business owners, or even, individuals? How do we keep ensure that our books are right? Not everybody will be able to afford an auditor, right? We know auditors usually will help us with all those things, but for the business owner, how do you ensure that this is what you have right, like everything is right and correct, so that they will not gonna charge you money on 25% on what you should be paying, 22% on, you get that kind of thing. So do you want to help with that?
Well, I would like to say that obviously if you're a business, you just have to get your books right. Yes, you have to ensure that you're keeping the right records, and you are also categorizing things, in the proper way, right? So what is an expenditure, what came to you as an income, what came as what can be categorized as an allowable, tax deduction. You are actually, putting down things as they ought to, because if you are not, you would end up paying, a lot of taxes, and if you don't pay the right taxes, obviously you'll be penalized, right?
And that's even where I was going to go to now.
Okay.
At what point do I get, not Misha, but at what point does a person get penalized?
Well, you could be penalized for different things, right? For example, there's something called obstruction, right? So you're obstructing, the taxman. You're not allowing the taxman carry out his duty, be concerning an audit in your premises, or you're not responding as you ought to. Obstruction generally, right? So you could be penalized, right? And the act, lists certain amounts of money that you'll be expected to pay as penalties, right?
Okay.
Yes, if you don't remit taxes, you will be penalized, right? Or you don't deduct, you deducted, you did not remit, you will be penalized.
So I think that the only other thing I want to ask is, aside keeping my books, how do I ensure that I'm prepared for this tax filing on a regular basis? What are the essentials that I must have to ensure that I'm not being penalized, I'm up to date, and all of those things?
To ensure that you're up to date.
Yes, like I'm not missing on my tax filings, whether it's annually or monthly. What are the things I must ensure that I put in place? I know we talked about the books being right, but besides the books, what else?
So, there's a platform where businesses can register, right? There's a tax ProMax platform, right?
I know that one.
Where businesses can, register and ensure that they remit appropriate taxes.
So I think this has been an insightful and educational session.
Yeah, it has.
And thank you, Toyosi, for the clarity.
Thank you.
I also would like to say to my fellow business and owners of various companies to ensure that they put their books in order.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't wait for it to be so much before they start to file and all of those things. And if you can afford an auditor, get one. Ensure that your things are right.
Professional.
Yes, and tax professionals to help you look at the whole thing and put you right. But I think it's also important to run through these conversations we're having again. So you can watch this over and over again. It will help you. I'm sure you learn one or two things. And so thank you, Toyosi. It was nice chatting with you.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.